Spread love, man.
Because I found every ache, pain, symptom of the body is the subconscious trying to give you a message, trying to tell you something in the only way it knows how. Pain. It's going to get your attention, and we don't understand what it's trying to tell us. So it'll get a little worse, and a little worse, still trying to get your attention. And if we still don't understand what it's trying to say, it can end up with an illness or disease that's going to be a lot harder to fix, usually into surgery or all these drugs and things. The doctors are only putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms. They're not going to the cause of the person's problem. This is part of what OT was writing about also. You got to find out, why did the person choose to make themselves sick? And people can come in to see me and talk about different parts of their body they're having trouble with. I can usually tell them what's happening in their life, because the subconscious will always affect the same part of the body to give the person the message. It's very literal.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be looking at something pretty interesting, the idea that we might be subconsciously causing our own physical ailments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to be diving into some excerpts from a YouTube video featuring Dolores Cannon.
Okay.
She was a past life regression therapist who had some pretty groundbreaking ideas about the power of our subconscious minds.
Yeah, I've heard of Dolores Cannon. She's fascinating.
So how did she see the subconscious? I know is a pretty central part of her work.
Yeah, absolutely. She didn't just see it as this like personal reservoir of hidden thoughts and repressed memories.
Okay.
It was more like a vast cosmic well of knowledge that we all tap into. And she actually referred to it as they, not it, to kind of emphasize this sense of collective intelligence.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
What did she mean by that?
So think of it like this. Imagine like a universal library containing all the knowledge and experiences of humanity, past and present. That's kind of how she envisioned the subconscious.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about her individual baggage.
Right.
It's this connection to something much larger, something she called the oversoul or higher self.
So it's almost like a universal consciousness that we're all a part of?
Exactly. And she believed that through deep hypnosis, we can access this vast knowledge and gain incredible insights into ourselves and our health.
Okay, so that's where it gets really interesting, right? Because her work went beyond just understanding the subconscious.
Yeah.
She believed it actually played a direct role in our physical well-being.
Exactly. She saw every physical symptom, like from a minor ache to a chronic illness,
Wow.
as a message from the subconscious, a way for it to communicate with us.
So our bodies are literally talking to us. That's a pretty radical idea.
It is.
Yeah.
But think about it. We experience physical sensations in response to emotions all the time, right?
Right.
Our hearts race when we're scared. Our stomachs churn when we're nervous. Cannon just took this idea a step further and suggested that all physical symptoms, even chronic ones, are rooted in our subconscious.
Okay, I can see how emotions might manifest physically,
Yeah.
but how does that translate to something like back pain?
Well, according to Cannon, back pain often indicates a feeling of being overburdened, like you're carrying too much responsibility, literally and figuratively.
Okay.
You know, she observed that people with chronic back pain often felt overwhelmed by the demands of their lives.
Yeah, like they were constantly carrying a heavy load.
Exactly. It's like our bodies are saying, hey, pay attention, something's not right here.
So it's not that our bodies are malfunctioning. It's more like they're trying to send us a message in a language we've forgotten how to understand.
Exactly. And the language is incredibly specific. For example, she observed that problems with legs, knees, or hips often pointed to a sense of being stuck at a crossroads in life.
Okay.
These individuals often felt hesitant about making a decision or moving forward in a particular direction.
So if I'm constantly stubbing my toe, maybe I should reevaluate some choices I've been making.
Maybe. It's about paying attention to those patterns.
Okay.
What's fascinating is how nuanced this language can be. You know, Cannon even talked about arthritis in the hands as a sign of clinging too tightly to the past, an inability to let go.
Wow, so it's almost like our bodies are a map of our inner world.
That's a great way to put it. And Cannon took this mapping concept even further.
Okay.
She noted that the right side of the body tends to represent the present,
Mm-hmm.
while the left side often relates to the past.
Interesting.
She believed this was because the left side of the brain, which controls the right side of the body, is associated with logic and linear thinking,
Okay.
while the right side of the brain controlling the left side of the body is more intuitive and connected to emotions and memories.
So she's saying that not only can our subconscious speak through physical symptoms,
Right.
but it even uses specific sides of the body to differentiate between past and present issues.
Exactly. It's a level of detail that really makes you stop and think. And what leads us to another intriguing aspect of Cannon's work.
Okay.
Her belief that these subconscious messages often stemmed from past life trauma.
Past lives.
Yeah.
Now, that's getting into some pretty uncharted territory.
I know it can seem far-fetched, but Cannon's theory was that the way we died in a past life,
Okay.
the emotions and physical sensations associated with that death can carry over into our present life
Wow.
and manifest as unexplained pain or illness.
A traumatic death in a past life could be causing me physical pain in this life. That's a lot to wrap my head around.
It is. And while this aspect of Cannon's work might be the most challenging to accept,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that she built her theories on decades of research, working with thousands of individuals under deep hypnosis.
So even if we set aside the past life aspect for a moment, the idea that our subconscious is communicating with us through our bodies is pretty revolutionary in itself.
Absolutely. And perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Cannon's work is not just that our subconscious can create physical problems, but that it also holds the key to healing them.
Wait, so she's saying our subconscious can actually heal our bodies?
That's exactly what she observed. In her work with deep hypnosis, Cannon documented numerous cases where people's subconscious minds were able to heal physical ailments, sometimes even instantaneously.
This is blowing my mind. Can you give us an example of the kind of healing she witnessed?
Sure. One of the most striking cases involved a woman who had been suffering from debilitating knee pain for years.
Okay.
During a deep hypnosis session, her subconscious was able to completely rebuild the damaged cartilage in her knee. The pain vanished and she regained full mobility.
Wow. That's incredible. But how does that even happen? How can our subconscious actually heal our bodies?
That's a great question, and that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore the mechanisms behind this subconscious healing and delve into the fascinating world of deep hypnosis and its potential to unlock our inner healing power.
I can't wait to hear more. This is already making me think about all those times I've had a mysterious ache or pain and just ignored it or popped a pill. What if I was missing a message from my subconscious?
That's a question worth pondering. And we'll explore it further when we return for part 2 of our journey into the fascinating world of Dolores Cannon and the power of the subconscious.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Dolores Cannon and the subconscious. Before the break, you were telling me about a woman whose subconscious completely rebuilt cartilage in her knee during a deep hypnosis session.
Yeah, it's really remarkable, isn't it?
How is that even possible?
Well, Cannon's theory was that the subconscious, with all its wisdom and healing potential,
Okay.
is often hindered by the conscious mind.
Okay.
It's like in a deep trance state, removing the brakes and allowing the subconscious to take the wheel.
That makes sense. If our conscious minds are constantly analyzing, worrying, and making plans,
Yeah.
it seems like it would be hard to hear the whispers of our subconscious, let alone allow it to heal us.
Exactly. It's not that the conscious mind is intentionally sabotaging us.
Right.
It's more like it's just too preoccupied with day-to-day life to tune into the subtle signals of the subconscious.
Yeah, it's like trying to have a conversation in a noisy room.
Yeah,
You have to really focus to hear what the other person is saying.
that's a great analogy. And deep hypnosis, as Cannon used it,
Okay.
helps to create that quiet space for the subconscious to emerge and communicate. Or in this case, to heal.
So, by quieting the conscious mind, we create space for the subconscious to heal the body. Do you know if Cannon ever explained how the subconscious actually does the healing? What's the mechanism?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, it's not fully understood.
Right.
Cannon herself didn't claim to have all the answers, but she did observe some patterns.
Right.
She noticed that the subconscious often uses imagery and symbolism to facilitate healing.
Can you give us an example of what you mean?
Of course. In one case, a man with a heart murmur was able to visualize his heart as a machine with a faulty valve. Under hypnosis, his subconscious guided him to repair the valve in his mental image.
Wow.
And as he did, his heart murmur disappeared in real life.
That's amazing. It's like our subconscious minds can rewrite our internal blueprints. Did she observe any other instances of this kind of subconscious healing?
Many times. She documented cases of everything from chronic pain disappearing to tumors shrinking and even bones knitting back together after fractures.
It all sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like some kind of miracle cure.
It can definitely feel that way.
Yeah.
But Cannon emphasized that this healing power resides within each of us.
Okay.
It's not magic. It's about tapping into a deeper level of our being and removing the mental and emotional obstacles that prevent our bodies from healing themselves.
That's a really empowering thought that we have this innate capacity for self-healing.
Mm.
But if that's true, why do we get sick in the first place? Why doesn't our subconscious just heal us automatically?
Well, Cannon believed that sometimes our subconscious creates physical ailments as a way to get our attention. As we discussed earlier, it's like a wake-up call, a way of saying, hey, something is out of balance here and you need to address it.
So it's not about blame. It's about understanding the message behind the symptom.
Exactly. And if we can decipher that message and address the underlying issue, we may not need the physical symptom anymore.
I'm starting to understand the communication aspect, but how do we even begin to figure out what our bodies are trying to tell us?
Yeah.
How do we know if a headache is just stress or something deeper, something from a past life, as Cannon suggested?
It can definitely be tricky. But Cannon believed the key was to develop a heightened awareness of our bodies and our emotions. Start by paying attention to your body signals. Notice where you hold tension. What happens to your breathing when you're stressed?
Yeah.
Are there certain areas that are prone to aches and pains?
Right.
Ask yourself, what's happening in your life when these sensations arise? Are there any repeating patterns?
So it's like becoming a detective of our own inner world, looking for clues to understand the messages our bodies are sending.
Precisely. And remember, Cannon was a big proponent of deep hypnosis as a tool for exploring the subconscious.
Right.
She believed that through deep trance work, we could access memories and emotions that are blocked from our conscious awareness, even memories from past lives that might be impacting our present-day health.
That makes sense. After all, if the subconscious is the source of the message, it makes sense that it would also hold the key to understanding that message.
Exactly. And while deep hypnosis might not be for everyone, there are other techniques we can use to connect with our subconscious.
Like what?
Well, meditation and journaling are great tools for developing a deeper awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. Yoga can help us tune into our bodies and notice how different emotions manifest physically.
It sounds like there are actually a lot of tools available to help us learn this new language of the body,
Yeah.
to start listening to our bodies with more awareness and understanding.
There definitely are. And the more we listen, the more we might discover about the incredible wisdom and healing power that resides within us.
This is all incredibly fascinating and empowering. But I have to admit, part of me is also a little intimidated by this idea of past life trauma impacting my present-day life. It feels kind of overwhelming.
I understand. It can be a lot to take in. But remember, you don't have to embrace every aspect of Cannon's work to find value in it.
Okay.
Even if we set aside the past life component, her core message remains incredibly powerful.
Right.
Our subconscious minds play a profound role in our physical well-being, and by learning to listen to our bodies and understand their messages, we can unlock incredible potential for healing and transformation.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think that leads perfectly into our next topic. The right side of our body representing the present and the left side representing the past. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. This is where Cannon's observations get even more intriguing. She noticed that physical symptoms on the right side of the body often correlated with issues related to the present moment.
Okay.
Things like current stressors, relationship problems, or work challenges.
So if I'm experiencing a lot of tension in my right shoulder, it could be a sign that I'm feeling overwhelmed at work.
Exactly. It's like your body is saying, hey, pay attention to what's happening right now. You're carrying too much stress.
That makes sense. But what about the left side of the body? You mentioned that Cannon associated it with the past.
Yes. She observed that physical symptoms on the left side of the body often had roots in the past,
Right.
whether it was childhood trauma, past relationships, or, as she believed, even past life experiences.
Wow.
These past experiences, Cannon suggested, can leave energetic imprints on our bodies that can manifest as physical ailments years, even decades later.
So something that happened to me in childhood could be contributing to pain in my left knee today.
It's possible. Now, it's important to remember that Cannon's work, particularly her theories about past lives, is not scientifically proven.
Right.
But her observations based on her extensive work with deep hypnosis offer a fascinating perspective on the interconnectedness of our minds, bodies, and experiences throughout time.
Definitely a lot to think about. So if I'm experiencing pain or discomfort on my left side,
Yeah.
It could be worth exploring past experiences to see if there are any unresolved emotions or traumas that might be contributing to the issue.
Exactly. Now, this doesn't mean we need to get lost in the past or dwell on negative experiences,
Uh,
but simply acknowledging these past events and allowing ourselves to process any unresolved emotions can be incredibly powerful for healing.
It sounds like Cannon's work is really about encouraging us to listen to our bodies with a deeper level of awareness,
Yeah.
to tune into the subtle messages they're sending us, and to explore the interconnectedness of our physical, emotional, and even spiritual selves.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And ultimately, I think that's the core message of Cannon's work, to
Uh-huh.
empower us to take an active role in our own healing and to recognize the profound intelligence and resilience of our bodies and minds.
That's a message I can definitely get behind. So where do we go from here? We've talked about the subconscious mind, the body as a map, and even the possibility of past life influences. What's the next layer of this deep dive?
Well, in our last segment, we touched on the idea that deep hypnosis is a powerful tool for accessing the subconscious.
Right.
I think it's time we take a closer look at how this technique actually works and explore the potential benefits and risks associated with this practice.
I'm really curious to learn more about that. It sounds like deep hypnosis was a central part of Cannon's work.
Yeah.
And if it can really unlock the healing power of the subconscious as she claimed, then it's definitely something worth exploring.
I agree. And I think it will provide a fascinating conclusion to our deep dive into the world of Dolores Cannon and the extraordinary power of the subconscious mind.
Welcome back to our final segment, exploring the work of Dolores Cannon. We've covered so much ground. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has. It really has.
Yeah. From the basic concept of the subconscious to the fascinating and somewhat mind-boggling idea of past life influences and the healing power of deep hypnosis.
Yeah. And all the ways our bodies are trying to talk to us.
Right. I have to admit, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but also incredibly inspired.
It can be a lot to take in. I know.
So to bring it all together, let's talk about the tool that Cannon used to access this hidden power within us.
Okay.
Deep hypnosis.
Yeah, deep hypnosis was really central to her work.
Can you explain how it actually works?
Sure. So, deep hypnosis, as practiced by Cannon, is a technique for inducing a profound state of relaxation and focused attention.
Yeah.
And in this state, the conscious mind, with all its chatter and distractions, takes a backseat,
Right.
allowing the subconscious to emerge and communicate more freely.
So it's like creating a direct line to the subconscious.
That's a great way to put it. And what's fascinating is that in this deep trance state,
Okay.
people often access memories and emotions that are normally blocked from their conscious awareness.
So they might recall childhood experiences they'd completely forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. Or, as Cannon observed, even tap into memories from past lives.
Wait, so people can actually remember their past lives under deep hypnosis?
That's what Cannon reported based on her decades of experience. Now, it's important to emphasize that these past life memories are subjective experiences,
Yeah.
and there's no scientific way to prove or disprove their validity.
Right.
But Cannon believed they held valuable clues to understanding present-day challenges and unlocking deeper levels of healing.
So if I were to try deep hypnosis, what could I expect? What actually happens during a session?
Well, a typical session starts with a process called induction,
Okay.
where the hypnotist uses guided imagery and relaxation techniques to help you enter a trance state.
Is it like being asleep?
Not exactly. You're fully conscious and aware of what's happening, but you're in a deeply relaxed state where your mind is more receptive to suggestions.
Okay, so once I'm in this trance state, what happens next?
Well, that's where the real exploration begins. The hypnotist will guide you to access different levels of your subconscious,
Okay.
using specific questions and techniques to uncover hidden memories, emotions, and even past life experiences.
And the goal is to find information that can help me heal or understand myself better.
Exactly. Cannon believed that many of our present-day fears, anxieties, and even physical ailments
Right.
have roots in past experiences that we do not even consciously remember.
Yeah.
By bringing these experiences to light, processing the associated emotions, and gaining a new perspective on them, we can often release the hold they have on us and experience profound healing.
It's amazing to think that our subconscious minds hold so much wisdom and healing potential.
It really is. And deep hypnosis, as Cannon practiced it, was all about tapping into that potential.
So it's not just about remembering past lives.
Right.
It's about accessing hidden parts of ourselves that can help us heal and grow in this life.
Exactly.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but I have to ask, are there any risks associated with deep hypnosis? I mean, it sounds pretty powerful.
It is a powerful technique, and as with any therapy, it's important to work with a qualified and experienced practitioner.
Okay.
The risks of deep hypnosis are generally minimal, but it's crucial to feel safe and comfortable with the hypnotist
Right.
and to have clear intentions for the session.
That makes sense. So if someone's interested in exploring deep hypnosis, what advice would you give them?
Do your research and find a practitioner who resonates with you. Look for someone who has extensive experience in deep hypnosis and who specializes in the areas you want to explore.
So it's not as simple as just finding any hypnotist.
No, not really. Deep hypnosis, as practiced by Cannon, is a specialized form of hypnotherapy that requires a deep understanding of the subconscious mind and the subtle nuances of trance work.
Okay, so it's essential to find the right practitioner. What else should someone consider before diving into deep hypnosis?
Well, it's important to have clear intentions for the session. What are you hoping to gain from this experience? Are you looking to explore past life memories, address a specific issue or phobia, or simply connect with your subconscious on a deeper level?
It sounds like having a clear purpose is key to having a successful and meaningful experience.
Absolutely.
Well, this deep dive has been truly eye-opening. We've learned so much about Dolores Cannon and her work. I think her core message is really about hope and empowerment.
I think so too.
It reminds us that we are far more than just our physical bodies, that we have an incredible inner wisdom waiting to be tapped into, and that healing is possible on levels we might not even fully comprehend.
And that our bodies are constantly trying to talk to us if we can just learn to listen.
Exactly. So as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. If there's one thing we've learned from Dolores Cannon's work, it's that our bodies are constantly talking to us, sending us subtle messages through aches, pains, and even chronic illnesses. The question is, are we listening? And on that note, we'll leave you to contemplate the whispers of your own body and the vast wisdom of your subconscious mind. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.